Hey everyone, it's Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com, and today, Thursday, which is the new Friday, Glenn, I don't know if you know that, we're talking to Glenn Heckler from RCPlanestands.com, and the reason we're talking to Glenn is I was cruising around the internet yesterday, day before yesterday, I guess, and I went and checked out your site, and then I was like, these stands look awesome, but then your story was compelling, and I sent Glenn an email and said, hey, would you be interested in talking to us on our YouTube and Facebook channel? And so here we are. Glenn, what's going on?
Hello, I'm doing good.
So I think the core story is, so let me ask you this. Were you an RC pilot first or a woodworker first?
RC pilot first. I started with the foamies about 3.5 years ago.
Okay, so it wasn't too long ago. And then did you progress into bigger planes?
Yes. And in the meantime, I used to have a couple of computer repair stores that I sold. So I started getting a lot more time. I'm kind of semi-retired, so I got a lot more time to do the RC stuff, and then started getting into larger and larger planes. So in the meantime, I also, when I did retire, I started building my garage out, doing some woodworking just as a hobby for fun.
And so when I first started, I went to a garage sale and I found keyboard stands that were metal. I found like four of them, and I put noodles on them, and I literally were hauling these things around, and they don't really work. And so you came to the same conclusion, you needed some sort of stand?
Yes, I was building a lot of PVC pipe stands, and then putting the foam on them and all that stuff. But there was nothing that was like really good. I mean, the little blue and gray stands you can buy. Those were a decent model, but not for anything large. And so as I got into bigger planes, I decided, well, I'm going to make a stand myself, which I made my benchtop stand first, which is that one right there with the little tray underneath it.
The benchtop. Okay.
Yeah. So I made that first about almost 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago. And I was taking down the field and using it, and everybody at my field just loved it to death because there's nothing really like that out there. So I got 2 or 3 requests, and then I made them, and it just kind of snowballed from there. Everybody loved them. Everyone wanted them. So
I really like this tray down here where you can keep your tools, and the real trick, especially on a big airplane, is keeping your screws and all the little things, because without 1 or 2 of those things, you can't fly.
Right. And so like my different bolts that, tie on the wings or whatever like that, you can just lay in that tray, take it out with the field, and you'll have your stuff. I throw my badge in there and my leashes on my neck, stuff like that. It's just it was real handy. So I made it a tray. At first it was just a pole going across, my first version of this. This is about the 7th edition of this. Yeah. So.
And I think it's something we should talk about now is there are more products to look at, but while we have everyone with their eyeballs on us, tell us about the construction and how you stand behind these things. Okay. And then even down to the hardware.
Okay. Well, the construction is all Baltic birch plywood, 1/2 inch. So it's very sturdy and strong. And Baltic, if you don't know, Baltic birch high plywood is top of the line. There's not a bunch of voids in it or stuff like that. So like on normal plywood, the cheapy plywood, if you see the end grain, you'll see all kinds of voids in it and mess in it. And so the Baltic birch doesn't have that problem. So it looks really nice and clean still on the edges. So I use that, and then the hardware, you can buy any of that off of, now I do such a big volume, I buy it direct, but you can buy any of it in small quantities off of Amazon. the
which is
knobs,
awesome. Yeah.
the one wrap I use. One of my problems with designing this thing was that when you put a bigger plane on these and you're working on it, like just sitting on it is no problem. But when you're working on it, you end up putting pressure on it and stuff. So I invented these little slings. So I got these two arms on the benchtop and this floor model we're looking at.
Right.
And I kind of invented these slings that have a knob on there.
Right here.
So yeah, so those arms are made of 2 1/2-inch plywood and then a center little piece at the top of another 1/2 inch. So it goes and hooks on to the other arm so that it's very adjustable. And when you clamp it down, it's squeezing both outer pieces to the inner piece, so it doesn't move. It's really strong. And with
You said, yeah.
yeah. So, and then with the top Velcro on the top of those arms, I can do a one wrap sling across there that you can just kind of adjust to whatever width you're doing and height you want the plane to do. And then nothing touches the ribs. So when you're working on it, you have a lot more support under there where you're not breaking ribs because you push down too hard or whatever.
Gotcha. And then you said your number one question was how much weight can this thing support?
Yeah, I mean, the guys with the bigger planes, they're going, I got a 42% and I got, my plane's 50 pounds or 60 pounds or whatever, which is a pretty heavy plane. But this is my friend Harry's plane and it weighs 50 plus pounds. And we put it on there. He actually bought one. So the thing is, when I grew from the benchtop plans, I found this stand here, a stand similar to this online. And it was a guy that was from RCAirplanestands.com. And he's no longer, he aged out. I sent him an email, his wife replied back to me and says, you know what, he's older. The site's still up, but it says thing I'm going to be out for a while, but that was posted back in 2019 or 18, something like that. So anyways, he's no longer in business. So I wanted one of these kind of stands for myself because I like the benchtop stand at the house and stuff, and I was taking it out there, but then you got to put it on a bench or something. Right. And some of the fields don't have a bench that I go to. Some of them do, some of them don't. So I wanted something that I could like flip my plane upside down and work on the gear or whatever when I don't have a table. And I don't want to bring my own table. So this was a good solution I found. But since he aged out, I decided I'm going to copy it. And I changed a few things, like the wheels on the original one had a tendency, they were just mounted on a 3x3 square of plywood. And so when you put too much weight on it, they would kind of flip up. So these wheels are on a hardwood base and they're drilled directly into the leg. So you can stand on it and it's not going to fold up or break the wheel.
And they look like really nice wheels. I mean, like you're able to wheel this thing around on a
they're
on a runway.
3-inch. They're 3-inch too. So the original had smaller wheels, I believe, to where our field isn't real smooth. So on gravel and stuff like that, it didn't roll very well.
Right.
So I made them 3-inch. And then the other improvement I made, if you look right there where the arms attached to the wheels, there's a knob underneath there. And that allows you to take off the wheel stand, because some of the guys at my field were complaining that, oh, I'd love to have one, but it won't fit my car. So I made those legs removable. So you just unscrew that knob and the legs remove, and now it's real thin and easy to put in your car anywhere.
Right.
And if you have the room, like I do, I just leave it built that side. I don't have to, remove them. So that's a couple of the improvements I made. And then obviously the slings and those, the little sling holder, that's a lot different than the original one was too. The original one just had some plywood arms with, the 1/2-inch foam on top of it. And so once again, when you put a lot of pressure on it while you're working on it, it can crack ribs easily. So
And then if somebody has a problem, if they break it or something, how do you handle that?
well, they can just email me and I'll ship them a new part, you know. I mean, it depends on kind of what it is, but if it's just a part or two, I'll just send them a new one. I have plenty of them around. Um, if it's far or whatever, I might charge you for shipping. But basically, if any of the wood pieces break, I can ship you a new one. It's not a big deal.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay, so we've talked about the bench top and the floor stand. Then we have the floor stand with no wheels. I guess that would be for like a shop or something like that.
Well, yeah, sometimes some guys don't care about the wheels, I guess. And the reason I made this was that I could do it for a lower price if I don't put
Right.
if I don't put the $25 wheels on it and I don't
Right,
put
right.
a varnish on it. Because believe it or not, when varnish all these things, right now I use some Waco oil, which 2.5 liters is about $200. So it's real
Wow.
expensive stuff, but they use it on flooring. So when it dries and cures, it's really hard and really durable. So if I don't have to put that finish on it or wheels on it, I can sell it for cheaper. So these are about $50 cheaper if you don't want that. And some guys want to stain it themselves or
Right.
put their own finish on, whatever, paint it, whatever you want to do.
So I think we've gone over most of the models. This is cool. What am I seeing here? A tray?
Oh no, that's the same thing. That's just a
Oh, it's a
combo
picture on
discount.
top. Right.
Because
It,
believe it or not, a lot of the guys are buying both. And so I decided, well, I'll just group it and give them like a $50 discount if you buy both at once.
so what have we missed? Is there anything we haven't talked about?
Um, no, I think we covered pretty much it. I started making them out of necessity, and it grew into this. Now I've been shipping them all over the country, uh, and they're going good.
Well, we have to talk about your wood shop
Oh,
while we're here.
oh,
So it looks
okay.
like you're making unique items.
Yeah, I make this just goofy stuff just because I was practicing and learning woodworking the last couple of years.
Right.
And then a lot of friends and friends of family and stuff like that would say, "Oh, can you make me one of those? Can you make me one of those?" Anyway, so I put together this little website because I sell a ton of those candle holders and stuff
Right.
to people, and they like them. So
I
there's a
think
picture of my shop right there. That
Glenn,
lower.
I think the real sell here is that when you buy one of these bigger expensive stands, that you need to go to the back of the site and get your wife a bowl. Then when
Oh.
you unpack the stand and she's like, "What is this?" You say, "Hey, I got you a bowl." Completely throws her off the track of what you own. And I think this is a great idea that you've got going here.
Well, the bowl, I just linked that just for the heck of it. But those bowls are actually made out of a solid piece of walnut. They're kind of expensive, but to make those, you have to carve it out of a solid. We don't like laminate it together, a bunch of walnut pieces. This is one solid
Right.
chunk of the trunk. So when you make it, you have to take it down to a size and leave it about an inch, inch and a half thick. And then you have to let it sit for 6 months
Huh.
because it needs to dry and cure. And when it does, it'll get all warped. So that's why you leave so much space on it. So once it's really dried after 6 to 8 months, depending on how big it is, then you put it back on the lathe and do it again, and
Hit
then
it
put the
again. Right.
final finishes on, and you can make them nice and thin, and then they'll be real stable for long use. But they're not, they're a solid piece of wood.
$40 seems like a steal for something like that.
Well, the big ones are like $90 or something. But if you go to Amazon, you can buy a set of them for $40, a set of small bowls, you know.
Right.
But if you feel the weight difference on them, I don't know what they use for wood, but their wood's really light. Some of
Yeah.
them.
Well, that's the difference in getting something made by a person
Yeah.
and made by machines.
Yeah.
This is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, I made that for my stepmother.
Well, the website is rcplanestands.com. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Glenn will be happy to answer you. And Glenn, I appreciate you taking time to talk to everyone on RC Groups and Flying Giants
Okay.
and just share what you make.
Okay, well, thank you for reaching out. And that phone number on my site up there, that's my cell phone. So it's not like you're calling some big company and putting on hold. You call me and I answer the phone.
Right.
So if you have any issues or problems or whatever, also right now I'm a little backed up on them because I had shoulder surgery recently and I've just got out of my sling a couple weeks ago. So I'm still going a little slow, but normally I can turn them out in 3 or 4 days. I just got a new connection for a CNC machine
Oh,
to
cool.
where I'm starting to cut the machine, the parts out with that. So that's going to really help me increase production. I am semi-retired, so I don't need to sell a million of these things,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be a factory worker all day.
Right.
I want to just make a good product and sell a few of them, and that's good.
Awesome. Well, go check them out. You can also see his banner on rcgroups.com. I'm Jim T. Graham. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody watching this. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if this is the kind of RC info you're looking for. And I'm always looking to talk to other companies that make interesting things. So if you want to talk to me on YouTube, just send me a PM on RC Groups, and I would put that together for you. All right, Glenn, have a great weekend. All right.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yep.